Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Imaginext DC Super Friends Batman Ooze Pit. That's right, my friends. I've been a pretty big fan of the Imaginext toy line. I've actually reviewed several of the toys and playsets here on this channel, and I've often commented on how fun and how retro many of the gimmicks and the toys feel. There's just a lot of love given to this line, and there's some very cool stuff there. And now there is a brand new version of one of my all-time favorite playsets. Of course, I'm talking about the 1985 Evil Horde Slime Pit from the Masters of the Universe toy line. When I was growing up, this was one of my absolute favorite toys to play with. Take your He-Man action figure, you cram him in there, you fill the little dinosaur skull full of slime, and it drips down and covers your poor He-Man action figure. It is so much fun. And if you've been a fan of this channel for any time at all, it comes as no surprise to you that I love this playset. I've talked about this playset a few times, as well as several other different slime playsets that have been released throughout the years. You see, Mattel is no stranger to recycling gimmicks, especially when they work. And in 2001, they released this bad boy right here. This is the Harry Potter Slime Chamber playset. That's right, believe it or not, this was part of their Harry Potter toy line. It's a different mold than the original He-Man slime pit, but the gimmick remains the same. You place your poor Harry Potter figure down in the bottom, you press the button on the back, and the snake head releases a stream of slime that drips down and covers your action figure. Now in 2003, Mattel revisited the slime pit idea again for their 2000X Masters of the Universe series by releasing the Mutant Slime Pit. Now this one's designed a little bit different than the others, but the whole slime feature is still there. So that brings us to today with the release of the Batman Ooze Pit. Same concept, the name is even similar. Instead of the slime pit, it's now the Ooze Pit. But as you can see, it looks very similar and the gimmick is exactly the same. So now a whole new generation of kids can experience all the fun that we had with our original slime pit from the 80s. So let's get a closer look at the brand new Ooze Pit. So here we have our new Ooze Pit outside of the box, and everything that is included with the set is laid out right here in the front. So it includes two figures. We've got our nice Imaginext Batman figure. We've seen him plenty of times in other sets. This one's wearing the all-black outfit there. Very 89 movie, right? Especially with the little yellow bat emblem there on his chest. And, of course, we've got Ra's al Ghul to go with his little Ooze Pit, or his Lazarus Pit, which is totally what this is. It's kind of amazing that we're getting a Lazarus Pit in a line for preschoolers. I love it. So, we got a Ra's al Ghul action figure here, and we've got a couple of accessories done in a nice translucent bright green, very slimy looking. Got like kind of this clawed weapon here, almost like a trident, but it's like, you know, you can see the claws kind of bent there. And then, of course, we got this nice green sword as well, so you can arm up Ra's there to fight with Batman. Ra's al Ghul, by the way, that's the way I say it. I think a lot of people say Ra's al Ghul also, but Batman the Animated Series all the way. Always called him Ra's al Ghul. So, boom, there you go. Those are your action figures with this set. Now, the actual playset itself is pretty darn cool looking. Let me bring in the tape measure here. So you can see that the overall playset stands right at about 10 inches tall, and from pillar to pillar, it's about almost a full 12 inches in length. So it's got a really nice size to it. The back is mostly just kind of like hollowed out. You can see it's just the back of the molding of the plastic there. So all of the play happens right here on the front. I love these columns. And then the actual piece up here, the head that's going to drop the slime, is done in this very cool dragon motif with these little translucent green eyes. And then, of course, you see your bright red Imaginext eye button up there. That's the button that you're going to press to trigger the mouth opening, which is what's going to bring the slime down on your victim. Very, very cool stuff. Another thing that I really liked about this, you'll notice that the pit part itself is done in this translucent green. Look at that. It's actually a removable tray. This is really clever because this will allow you to easily pick this up once the slime is all in it to clean the slime out a lot easier. And then also, if you need to, you can go rinse this out in the sink to get rid of some of the leftover slime residue. So I thought that was really clever. You'll also notice there's a little foot peg there so that you can stand your figure in the perfect spot for the slime to come down. So, slime. That's the big component here. That's the key element to this playset. And you know what? Since this is a Mattel toy, that means it comes with Mattel slime, which of course, as I've stated on this channel many times, is the best slime. I mean, they are the original slime and they still make it better than anybody else. And look at this. It's beautiful. It's perfectly sticky. It's perfectly runny, but still has an amazing consistency. This is exactly the kind of slime you want for a slime pit. I can totally see people making runs to get this, just to get some of this awesome Mattel slime for their already existing Masters of the Universe slime pits or other toys, because this is just the best slime. So, let's go ahead and prepare this. Let me show you guys how this works. We're going to go ahead and put Raish in his Lazarus pit, or the Ooze pit, as this is called. And we're going to stand him right there, so that should position him in a good spot for the slime to drip down on him. One thing I want to bring up real quick, I would be really cautious about putting Batman in here because of his cloth cape. I would be really worried that the slime would stick to that cloth cape too much and be really hard to clean. So Ra's al Ghul is probably going to be your best bet, or any of your other Imaginext figures that don't have cloth material. So, let me zoom in up here on the head portion. There is a little door on the top that you can just fold open just like this. And this is our little compartment to add the slime. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to dump this beautiful, runny, awesome, bright green slime. Look at that. Oh, just dump it right into the head of our Ooze pit there. Oh, we got a little bit of a slime bubble. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to get that all loaded up. Perfect. Perfect. Get it off my fingers. Ah, there we go. And then you can easily just close the door and lock it in place. So, let's get all zoomed out here, because this right here, guys, is what we've all been waiting for. Let's watch the slime pit, or the Ooze pit rather, in action. By pressing the button, it opens the door, and check that out. Oh my gosh, it is absolutely perfect. The foot peg is in the right position, so the slime runs perfectly down over the figure, and look at that. Look at the way it's just forming over the figure. Oh my gosh, this brings back so many wonderful memories of playing with the He-Man version of this playset when I was a kid. It works wonderfully. Oh my gosh, look at that. Now, it's a small little thing of slime, so it does kind of fall out pretty fast. You can see we got some nice slow oozing with the remnants here, but it does pretty much come out pretty quickly there. Falls out, and then it's now covered all over our figure. So, of course, sticky, it's gooey, it's going to be a little tricky to get cleaned off of your figure, but one of the things that's great about Mattel slime is it does stick together really well. So with a little bit of work, you should be able to clump it all back together, put it back in your little container to store it with a nice lid there, that way it won't dry out, and then any residue that's left, you can just use some water, because it's water-based stuff, so the water will rinse it right out. Oh, this is just so perfect. Look at this. Okay, so I've got to do this just to show you guys. I'm going to bring in a vintage He-Man from the Masters of the Universe line, because I want to show you the scale. Obviously, he is much too big for this. I mean, I can't really stand him in here. His head's too tall. He really hits the top. So this is quite a bit bigger than the one that was scaled for these vintage He-Man figures, but I knew folks would want to see what he looks like compared to it. But here's something I thought of. Maybe for any of your smaller He-Man figures, like your He-Man reaction figures from Super 7, they fit a little bit better with this. Now, obviously, they're still a little bit taller than your Imaginext figures, and the foot peg's not going to fit these, but if I were to stand He-Man in here, you can see he's about at the right size for a slime pit, but if I press the button, the door does just kind of bump him, but still, you could stand him in the front, the slime would still totally run down. So maybe if you're just looking for a cool display piece with your reaction figures, that might work out pretty well. Or maybe even your Loyal Subjects He-Man's figures, because they're also in that smaller scale. So that's kind of cool to think about, that you could totally use this with some of your smaller scale Masters of the Universe figures if that's something that you'll want to do. And I think it's way too big for this guy right here. I mean, like, yeah, he's just too big for it. He's not really going to fit in there. So we're just going to have to do this. Sorry, Spider Blue. Oh! Spider Blue, he's so blue, 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 blue. Alright guys, it's comparison time. So I keep talking about the other slime pit, so this is what the new Imaginext Ooze pit looks like standing alongside the vintage Masters of the Universe slime pit, just so you can get a sense of the scale and the differences between them. And of course, I also want to stand it alongside that Mattel Harry Potter slime chamber playset, since it's got a very similar gimmick and kind of a similar look. And that's going to do it, my friends. That is a look at the brand new DC Ooze Pit, part of the Imaginext line from Fisher-Price. I've already been a huge fan of Imaginext. They make some really incredible toys. But man, this one obviously really speaks to me. It's a recreation of one of my all-time favorite playsets, and it gives kids today a chance to experience that same fun slime feature that we experienced when we were kids. It's also a pretty good price point at $29.99. I picked mine up off of Amazon where it was in stock, but that also means it should be hitting store shelves very soon. So, happy hunting, my friends. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of this toy, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.